everybody, this is Christine. Welcome to my channel, Scrap and Rabbit. I just finished making this mini album and I really liked the way it turned out, so I'm happy to share it with you. This album measures 9 1/4 wide by 9 inches high, and the spine is 3 1/4 inches. And this is based on my Repositionable Album tutorial. I made a few changes to it, so I'll show you what I did, what some of those changes are. So on the cover, I have a title that reads Joyful Time, and these are just little word tiles that I had in my stash. And then I put a little padlock here. It says love. It's shaped like a heart. And on the closure, I have these little beads that I assembled, and I have a little key on it here to unlock the heart. So I thought that was kind of neat. Then on the front, I've got the Tim Holtz clock die, and I've got little dies of birds, and these are little paper flowers, paper roses that I made, and little die cut leaves, and some little pearl strands on here. And I've got carnation roses, ribbon carnations on the side, and I have a die cut, and I put some bling on here. And my spine is just paper that I covered with lace, and I've got one of these book plates on there. And to do the spine, just to show you quickly, very easy to do. To attach the lace, I just took a piece of lace that was going to be long enough to wrap around the top and the bottom, and my piece of scrapbook paper. And I just put it upside down on top of the lace, and I zigzagged around the edge. Then I cut the lace to fit, and I used it just as any other paper to wrap around the edge of the spine, and I think it looks kind of nice. Then on the back, again, I have a die cut border and some bling and this paper. Now, to wrap the album, I used some sheets of 12 by 12 that I had in my stash, but the paper that I attached on top here and that I used throughout the album is from this little pad of, it's 8 1/2 by 8 1/2. It's an unusual size. I've seen 8 by 8, but this is 8 1/2 by 8 1/2, so it fits perfectly to make this repositionable album. And it's called, I think it was called C'est Si Bon, Brenda Walden Designer Paper by K&Company. I'll find the name and I'll post it with this video. So again, on the side, I have a chain closure, and it's just a hoop and toggle. So I undo that. And here's the inside of the album. Now, when I made my spine, I made it 1/4 inch wider than called for in the instructions in the tutorial, because I thought I would embellish inside the album more than I did my previous one. But the paper is so pretty that I ended up not embellishing all that much inside the album, so I didn't need to make it quite as wide, but it still works. So here's the first page. The left page I just left blank. This is paper I had in my stash, but the rest is all paper from that little paper pad. So I have here some tags inside the first page, which is just a pocket. And this tag, all of the tags are two-sided. And that slides in here, and I have these beautiful flowers. And I put a little bit of a pearl strand here. Now, each of these tags on the side pull out. They're quite large, and I have a little bit of bling on the edge too. And these are also two-sided. I will be putting this album on in my eBay store eventually, when I get around to taking all the pictures of it. So each of these pages has an extra large tag. Oops. Now, I call this repositionable, and the reason for that is because you can position most of your photos, oops, my little heart fell off, I'm going to have to glue that back on, either vertically or horizontally. And the way it works is, here I have a waterfall. I didn't mat all the pages of the waterfall because you can put photos which will cover most of the paper anyways, but you can also journal on the back if you want. And here's an example of some journaling. I've shown this in a few videos, but on the black cardstock I have these Sharpie pens, and I have bronze, gold, silver. They're not expensive, and it shows up beautifully on black cardstock, so you can always journal with that if you want. If you prefer to journal with lighter colored paper, then you could put some lighter colored paper on here to write on. Now, the repositionable part. This is my waterfall, so you could put your pictures horizontally if you like, or the whole thing comes out. And on the side here, I have a large tag, and it's two-sided too. So you can replace the waterfall with this tag, like that, and then you can take the waterfall, and this insert slides in here, and you can just put it back in the side like that, and there's a magnet in there that helps hold it in place. So now you can put all of your photos vertically if you prefer. So that's the repositionable part of the album, and there's a couple of other examples throughout that I'll show you. Here's the next repositionable page. This is a pocket, and there's a tag in it. Again, I put a little bit of bling on the top. Now, this tag swivels around. Again, I've got some magnets in there. So if you wanted to, you could put your photo horizontally, or if you prefer, you can flip it around like that, and there's a magnet to hold it in place, and now you can have your picture vertically if you like. Now this is constructed the same way as in my tutorial, but a little alteration that I made is I added a little flap. So originally my pocket looks just like that, but I added this little flap that folds up, so there's room for 2 more photos on there, like that. Okay? Then, again, there's these large tags in each of the pockets. Beautiful paper. Now here on this page, you can put your photo either way you like because they're just loose tags inside a double pocket. And again, I put some bling on here, and I just embellish with some die cut borders. Now here's another repositionable page where you could take a picture and put it horizontally, vertically here if you like. And here there's a little spot for more little photos, and I've got a little journaling tag in there, and I matted on the back. Now this slides over so that if you wanted to have a horizontal photo, you can just take this and swivel it down. There's a magnet there to hold it in place, either in this position or in that position. So now you could put your photo horizontally, and you could still journal on your little tag. Again, this is made a little bit differently in my tutorial. This is just a flat swivel tab, and what I did in this one is I added this pocket on top so that I can slide my journaling tag in there, and it gives me extra room for photos, and I can journal in here and then put my photos on here if I like. Again, this is a beautiful large tag. Really, really nice paper collection. And I like the fact that this 8.5 by 8.5 fit perfectly for making these pages, because the pages measure 8.5 by 8.5. So all I had to do was trim a little bit on the edge to mat my pages. Now here's another one of those waterfalls. So there's lots of room. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and you can also put some underneath here. So there's room for 13 photos on here, and then plus the pull-out tag. And again, you can change these positions, have this on the side if you like, and move the tag up to the top. Here's another swivel pocket with the flap that lifts up on this one. And it can go like that. And there's the paper. And then some more tags. And another swivel tab, so there's room for photos there or here. And again, I have my little journaling tag in there. And here's the other large tag. And then finally, the last waterfall. And again, I can switch the position. These are two separate pockets. And there's a magnet to hold the waterfall. And the back is just plain. So I hope this gives you ideas for your own albums, and if you've already purchased my repositionable tutorial, well, then you can incorporate some of these ideas that I did in this album in your own albums. I'll include a link to my tutorial on my website if anybody's interested in purchasing it. It's only $9.99, and this album is a lot of fun to make. So have a happy crafty day. Bye.